Hey everybody, welcome to class today. Today is going to be an all levels forward folding practice. So we get into a few arm balances and inversions throughout the class, but can definitely be modified for everybody. If you enjoy these classes, please remember to like and subscribe. And if you want to know more or have suggestions or feedback, head over to my Instagram, which is in the show notes below, and let me know. We're going to get started today in a downward facing dog. Starting in your downward dog, take a gentle bend in through the knees and send the chest back towards the thighs. Press the heels down towards the floor. Press the chest back towards the tops of the thighs and reach the hips up towards the sky as you lengthen through the spine. And then as you're ready, start to straighten the knees any amount. Feel free to keep them bent. Create space between the ears and the shoulders. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose. And let it go through the mouth. One more. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Start to breathe in and out through the nose. Look forward to the hands, and as you inhale, ripple the spine forward to a plank pose, maybe bringing the knees down if you need to. Send energy back through the heels, engage through the tops of the legs, and send the sternum through the gateway of the arms without sinking through the lower back. Gazes down. And then bring the feet together, roll to the outside edge of the right foot. Once again, you can always drop that right knee. Bring the left arm up to the sky, Vashisthasana. Left hip stacks over the right, and the shoulders work their way down the back. And then look down to the floor. Bring the left hand down, plant it underneath the shoulder. Roll to the outside edge of the left foot, maybe dropping the left knee, maybe staggering the feet. The right hip draws on top of the left. Vashisthasana. Think of leaning back up against the wall to create length through the entire body. And then look towards the floor. Take the right hand down, plank pose, and send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. And on your inhale, ripple through the spine, coming forward to your plank. Exhale, bend the knees to a hover, send the hips back to the heels, and then straighten out into your downward dog. Inhale, shift it forward to plank. Bend the knees to hover, send the hips back to the heels, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift it forward to plank. This time, drop the heels over to the right, bend the knees, send the hips back, and then send it up to a twisted downward dog. Bring the heels through center, shift forward to plank. Heels drop to the left, send the hips back to the heels. And then start to extend the knees, coming into a twisted down dog. Bring the heels through center. And take 3 more, taking whatever variations or movements you feel are best for you. And then coming forward, we'll meet in a plank. Dropping the knees for the first one. As you exhale, send the elbows back. Tap the chest and the forehead to the mat. Inhale, press back up, tabletop. 2 more just like that. Exhale, hips stay high, chest and forehead tap. Inhale. Exhale to lower. Inhale, press up. Lift the knees up off the mat or stay with that variation. This time shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway, shoulders no lower than the elbows. Inhale to plank. Take 2 more like that. The elbows keep grazing the ribs. And press it back up to plank. Drop one knee under the hip, then the other, tabletop. Inhale, dip the belly, reach the chest forward for cow. And then as you exhale, press the floor away, round out for cat. Take 4 more rounds. Come back to a neutral spine. Inhale, reach the right arm forward. Exhale, send the left leg back. As you inhale, keep the limbs long. Just tap the fingers and the toes to the floor. Exhale, lift to spinal balance. Inhale to tap. Exhale to lift. Take 3 more, keeping the torso as steady as you can. And then come back to tabletop. Inhale, stretch the left arm long. Exhale, reach the right leg back. As you inhale, tap fingers and toes. Exhale, lift to spinal balance. Take 4 more breaths just like this. And then come back to tabletop. Tuck under the toes, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. And then from here, take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to bend the elbows, tap the elbows to the ground, and then inhale, straighten them back out to downward facing dog. We're going to take 4 more like that, kind of like a downward dog push up, working through the triceps. If this is too much, you can always drop to your knees. And then on your next one, lower the elbows down to the floor. Start to walk the feet in towards the elbows, coming into dolphin pose. So we're just like down dog, except now we're on the forearms. The head is away from the floor, the shoulders are away from the neck. And you want to try and keep the elbows underneath the shoulders. They're going to want to splay out to the sides and the hands are going to want to come together. See if you can keep them like railroad tracks. And then step the feet to the back of the mat, coming into a forearm plank. Just like we did in plank, send energy back through the heels, lift up through the lower belly and the tops of the thighs, and then send the sternum through the gateway of the arms. Ground down through the right forearm, angle it in if you need to, and then swivel onto the outside edge of the right foot. Baby Vashisthasana. Keep lifting up through the right hip. Left hip stacks on top of the right. And then look down towards the floor. Ground down through that left forearm. Roll to the outside edge of the left foot. Baby Vashisthasana. And then coming back to your forearm plank, plant the left hand, then the right hand, send it back, downward facing dog. And look towards the top of the mat, start to walk the feet all the way up Landing in Uttanasana, forward fold. Maybe taking opposite hand to opposite elbow, opening up through the backs of the legs. And then with a gentle bend in the knees, ground down through the heels. Drop the tailbone as you start to stack the spine, rolling all the way up to stand. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale for the first one. Plant the hands, step back, plank. Bend the elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, come straight back to plank, no back bend today. And as you exhale, downward facing dog. Look to the top, step. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sweep the arms, raise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step, walk or float, chaturanga, land with bent elbows. Inhale, straight to plank. Exhale, downward dog. Look to the top, step, walk or lightly float. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, 3 more rounds. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Look to the top, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, straight up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Look to the top, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, raise. Last round. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward dog. Look to the top, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, raise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step the left leg forward, and as you inhale, straighten the left leg, pyramid pose. Exhale, step it back, take a vinyasa. Always feel free to skip them. Look forward, step the right leg forward. Inhale, straighten out the right leg, pyramid pose. Exhale, bend the right knee, send it back, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward dog. Look to the top of the mat, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, inhale, chair pose. Exhale to stand. 4 more rounds of Surya B like that. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Right leg steps. Inhale, pyramid. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Left leg steps. Inhale, pyramid. Exhale. Option, single leg chaturanga. Inhale, single leg plank. Exhale, dog. Look to the top, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale to stand. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step, walk or float. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Right leg steps. Inhale, pyramid. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Left leg steps. Inhale, pyramid. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Look to the top, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale to stand. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step, walk or float. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Right leg steps. Inhale. Exhale, vinyasa. Left leg steps. Inhale. Exhale, vinyasa. Look to the top, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, stand. Last round. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step, walk or float. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Right leg steps. Inhale. Exhale, vinyasa. Left leg steps. Inhale. Exhale, vinyasa. Look to the top, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose, hold 5 breaths. Make sure you can see your toes. Feet can be separated. If your feet are separated, your knees are separated. Lengthen the lower back. Think of a gentle engagement between the hips and the ribs. Send the hips back further, torso parallel to the floor, Ardha Utkatasana. If it's too much to reach the hands forwards, you can reach the hands backwards. We're going to be here a lot today, so make it your own. Exhale, fold forward. Take the peace fingers, hook them around the big toes. Padangusthasana. Elbows come off to the side. Engage the fronts of the legs and the hip flexors to see if you can draw the torso down towards the shins, creating length through the spine. Head is heavy, maybe shake it yes, no. Take the left hand to the left hip, shift the weight to the left leg, come all the way up. Utthita Padangusthasana. Have as much of a bend in the right knee as you need to draw that right shoulder back in the socket and draw the right hip down in line with the left. Strong engagement through the left glute to make sure that that left hip doesn't drop out to the side. keeping a hold of the big toe if you can. Start to send the hips back first, then start to bend the left knee. We're coming all the way down into a pistol squat. You can lift the left heel if you need to. You can take the left hand down as support. If you can, maybe try and float that left hand up. Again, we're going to be doing this sequence quite a few times through the day, so know that you can always build on it as you go. You don't need to nail it the first time. Slowly release the right toes back next to the left. Bakasana, crow pose. Snuggle the legs to the backs of the arms, shift the weight forward, and take flight. If crow pose doesn't work for you, you can always come to a yogi squat. And then from here, starting to look forward, step, walk or float back, chaturanga. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, downward dog. Look to the top, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, chair pose. Utkatasana, 5 breaths. Ardha Utkatasana, hips back, torso parallel. Maybe you take a different variation with the arms. Straighten the legs, fold forward, take the peace fingers around the big toes, Padangustasana. And take the right hand to the right hip, shift the weight into the right foot, and then bring that left leg up, Uttita Padangustasana, taking as much of a bend as you need, drawing the left shoulder back, left hip down, and hugging the right hip in towards the midline. Start to send the hips back, then start to bend that right knee, coming all the way down into your pistol squat. Knowing that one side might be very different to the other. Seeing if maybe you can take the right hand off to float. Wobbling is totally fine. Send that left foot back to meet the right, Bakasana, crow pose. Send the gaze forward, step, walk, float back, chaturanga. Inhale to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the right leg up. Exhale, step it all the way up in between the hands. Stay on the back toes as you inhale, raise up, crescent pose. Think of drawing the frontal ribs and the frontal hip points gently towards each other. Bend deeply into the right knee. Make sure that you can still see your big toe and send energy out through the back leg. Make sure you're not just dumping into the lower back. Lengthen through the lower spine. And keep all this length, keep the legs as they are. Hug the right hip in as you start to tilt the torso forward, coming into your power lunge. If it's too much to have the hands forwards, you can always reach them back. The most important thing is that that right knee is not collapsing to the midline. Bring the hands to the hips. Keep the hips even as you start to send the weight over the front foot. Bring that left leg up to hover, warrior three. Even off through the pelvis and decide where you want to take your hands. Out in front is the most difficult. Strongly engage through the back of the left leg. Left toes point down. Bring the hands to heart center. You're going to upright yourself if you need to. Start to bend through the right knee. Keep the right knee tracking. And then tilt the torso forward again, coming into Dingasana, a bent leg variation of warrior three. The back leg can be straight or bent. The important thing is that that right leg, the hip is hugging in, the knee is facing forward. This one's a real glute burner. Start to bend that left knee, tuck it behind the right, shrimp squat. Once again, the hands can come to really wherever is comfortable for you. Slow, steady breaths. And then start to straighten out through that left leg, through the right leg. Hinge it forward, standing splits. Make sure you've got a little bit of room at the front of your mat. Left toes point down, strong engagement through the back left foot. No tension through the chest, head, or neck. And then you've got some options. You can take handstand hops. You can go all the way straight back to downward dog, or maybe you catch your balance in a handstand. And then you're going to hop your way all the way to the back of the mat. With or without a vinyasa, we meet in downward facing dog. Look towards the top of the mat, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees, inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose, 5 breaths. Hips back, torso parallel to the mat, Ardha Utkatasana. Make sure that the weight is still in through the heels. And then start to straighten out through the legs. Peace fingers around the big toes, Padangusthasana. And take the, take the right hand to the right hip, shift the weight into the right foot, start to bring that left foot up in front of you. Uttita Padangusthasana. Totally forgot where we were going there. Start to send the hips back. Bend through the right knee, coming into your pistol squat. Maybe this time you can release the grip on the left toe. Reach both hands forward. Take the left foot back to meet the right, Bakasana. And maybe this time you hug the left knee towards the left arm, bring the right knee into the chest, and then step the right foot all the way back. Left foot back, chaturanga. Inhale to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look to the top of the mat, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana. Hips back, torso parallel to the floor, Ardha Utkatasana. Keeping the weight in the heels. Straighten out through the legs. Peace fingers around the big toes, Padangusthasana. Left hand to the left hip, shift the weight to the left, bring that right foot up, Uttita Padangusthasana. Start to send the hips back, bend the left knee, pistol squat. Maybe this time you can release the right toes, reaching both hands forwards. Right foot back next to the left, Bakasana, crow pose. And then maybe this time you hug that right arm, the right leg into the right arm. Bring the left knee towards the chest. Step the left leg back slowly. Set it down. Right leg back. Chaturanga. Inhale to plank. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, sweep the left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Set yourself up for crescent on the second side. Remembering your alignment points. Drawing the feet together to draw energy up and out through the spine. And keeping strong through the legs, just send that torso forward as if you're reaching for something out in front of you. Ardha Virabhadrasana. Take the hands to the hips, start to shift the weight forward. Virabhadrasana 3. Gentle bend in through the left leg will help you to even off through the pelvis and engage the glute. And slowly upright your torso, give your glute a little bit of reprieve. And then keeping that left knee tracking forward, start to bend the left knee into a single leg squat. Then send the torso parallel to the floor. Back leg can stay bent or straight for Dingasana. So if you're doing this sequence properly, you should really be feeling your glutes burning. If you feel it in your knees, you really need to engage your glutes more. Start to come up, bend that right knee, tuck it underneath the left, behind the left, oh my goodness. Coming into a shrimp squat, right heel works towards the glute. Deeper bend in the left knee, keep it tracking forward. And then straighten out through the left leg, standing split. Strong engagement through the back of the right leg, right toes point down. You can always grab around the ankle if you want to. Take it to your level. And from here, maybe you walk back to your downward dog, or maybe you take a few breaths to play around with handstand. Shoulders shift over the wrist, gentle gripping at the mat with the fingertips. And then think of lifting up as opposed to flinging yourself up and over. Think of reaching towards the sky. And when you're ready, take it to the back of the mat. Vinyasa, or wait for us in downward dog. Look towards the top of the mat, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Ardha Utkatasana. Padangusthasana. Shift the weight into the left foot, bring the right foot up. Utthita Padangusthasana. Maybe this time you can release the right big toes using the strength of the leg to hold it up. With or without holding the legs, send the hips back, coming into your pistol squat. Maybe you're holding the leg, maybe you're not. Bring the right foot back to meet the left. Crow pose, or maybe this time you hold your Ekapada Bakasana, hugging the right leg into the right arm, left knee to chest, send the left leg back. And then step it back, take it through a vinyasa. Look to the top, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, 3 breaths. Ardha Utkatasana. Padangustasana. Shift weight onto the right foot, bring the left foot up. Uttita Padangustasana, maybe you can release the hands. Coming down into your pistol squat. Left foot meets right. Bakasana or Ekapada Bakasana, hugging the left knee towards the left arm, right knee to chest, and then maybe send that right leg back. Keep hugging the elbows in. And then step the right leg back with or without a vinyasa, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right leg up. Inhale, float the right leg up. Exhale, step it through. You've got options. You can stay in a lizard lunge or shift the hips back slightly. Take that right arm underneath the right leg. Stay here or reach the right arm behind. Left arm comes around the back, reaching for the bind. Bound runner's lunge. And then wherever you are, you're going to release that right hand to the outside of the right foot. Start to walk the right foot forward and out, Ekapada Kundinyasana. Keep pressing the floor away. And set the left foot down, draw the right foot in, step the right foot to the top of the mat, and then step the left foot to the top of the mat. Gentle bend in the knees. Once again, you're going to snake that right arm underneath the right leg, reaching for the back of the hip, and then the left arm is going to come up and around, reaching for that right arm. You can always grab your clothes or a towel. You can straighten the legs as much as is comfortable, and if you feel like it, you can take a couple of steps to the left, taking a full circle. And then release your bind. You're going to step your right foot long on the mat, coming into Prasarita. Take any arm variation that's working for you. Maybe you hook the big toes, maybe you interlace the fingers behind the back. Engage strongly through the fronts of the legs. And then you can stay here, or you're going to plant the hands underneath the elbows. Bring the crown of the head down for a tripod headstand. Start to come up onto the tippy toes, and then maybe you can float with control the legs up into a headstand. The elbows are hugging in, the weight is in through the crown of the chest. The crown of the head. And if you came upside down, you're slowly going to split the legs. Coming back into your Prasarita. Inhale, coming to a halfway lift, and then pivot towards the top of your mat. From here, we're going to come into, I can't remember if it's Tijabasana A or B. It's the one that's not an arm balance. So bend your knees generously. You're going to wrap your right arm all the way around your right leg. See if you can bring your hands to rest on the front of your right foot. And then you're going to snuggle that left arm around and see if you can bring your hand to rest on the front of your left foot. If you're like me, this might be where you stay and you might need to rotate your feet out a bit. If you have it available in your body, you're going to start to straighten the legs as much as you can and start to take your gaze towards the back of the room. If you can walk your feet in towards each other so that they're parallel and you're kind of hugging your head with your legs, then all the power to you. Go for it. And from here, we're going to come into the arm balance. So unwind, keep your arms behind your legs, just release your hands. You're going to plant your hands behind your heels. If you can get your hands all the way flat to the floor, that is ideal. Then you're going to start to walk the feet forward, and start to lift the feet off, maybe straightening out through the legs for Titibhasana. I don't have a lot of opening in my hips and hamstrings, so my Titibhasana will look very, very different to someone who is a lot more flexible than me. If you can ideally get the insides of your thighs closer up towards your shoulders, then that's where you go for. If it's available to you, maybe you sweep both legs behind you and end up in a chaturanga. Wherever you are, you're just going to make your way to downward facing dog. And just know that whatever it looked like in your body is totally fine. This is not a competition. This is probably just your living room. Look towards the top of the mat, step or conflict. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Inhale, chair pose. Half chair. Padangusthasana or Padahastasana. Shift weight to the right foot, bring the left leg up with or without a grip on the big toe. Pistol squat. Bakasana or Ekapada Bakasana, hugging the right knee in towards the right arm, left knee to the chest. Vinyasa or skip it. Look to the top, step, walk, or foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Utkatasana. Ardha Utkatasana. Padangusthasana or Padahastasana. Weight into the left foot, right foot raises with or without a grip on the big toe. Pistol squat. Bakasana or Ekapada Bakasana, hugging the left knee to the left arm, right knee to chest, maybe extends. With or without a vinyasa, make your way to down dog. Inhale, sweep the left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Stay in your lizard lunge or start to work that left arm underneath the left leg. Stay or take the left hand to the left hip, right hand behind the back, reaching for the bind. Hips and shoulders square to the floor. '. . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . If you bound, release the bind, plant the right hand and then plant the left hand to the outside of the left foot. Start to walk that left foot forward, bend into your chaturanga arms, lift the back leg, Ekapada Kundinyasana. And depending on the shape of your hips will depend on the angle of that front leg, or will determine the angle of the front leg. And plant that right foot, walk that left foot back into center, step the right foot up, reach back underneath that left leg, back of the left hand to the back of the left hip, reach that right arm up and around for the bind. You can stay here, you can straighten out the legs, or this time you're going to take a clockwise walk around your mat. Release your bind, step your left leg long, Prasarita. Take a different arm variation to what you took the first time. And strongly draw up through the legs. Family of flies having a party on my mat. Release your hands if you're coming to headstand. Plant the hands, crown of the head down to the floor. Tripod headstand. You could always take a bound headstand here if you prefer. Or if you're proficient in any other type of headstand, go for gold. And if you came up into headstand, slowly split the legs, float the legs down. With control, come up into a halfway lift. And then rotate back towards the top of your mat. Bend in through the knees, wrap the left arm behind the left leg, take it to the top of the foot, and then wrap the right arm behind the right leg, take it to the top of the foot. Stay here or go into a deeper variation, what works in your body. And then release the hands from the top of the feet. Walk the feet in a little bit if you can. Really snuggle the arms underneath the legs. Plant the hands behind you. Start to send the hips back. Weight into the hands. Maybe this time either Titibhasana, or if it's available in your body, you could cross one ankle over the other for Bhujapidasana. I clearly cannot do it because I just don't have the flexibility, and that's fine. I know that if you fall, you can always pause it, come back to it. And then either falling on your butt or shooting it back, take it through a vinyasa. We meet in downward dog. And one last time through our little flow, look towards the top of the mat, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Breath to movement this time. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale here. Inhale, Ardha Utkatasana. Exhale, Padangustasana. Weight into the left foot. Inhale, Uttita Padangustasana. Exhale, pistol squat. Inhale here. Exhale, right foot meets left. Bakasana. Maybe take it to Ekapada Bakasana to step it back through a vinyasa. Look to the top of the mat, step, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale here. Inhale, half chair. Exhale, Padangustasana. Weight to the right foot. Inhale, Uttita Padangustasana. Exhale, pistol squat. Inhale here. Exhale, left foot meets right. Bakasana. And then maybe you take the other side, Ekapada Bakasana, to step it back through your vinyasa. into downward dog. Look towards the top of the mat, step, walk or float through to a seat. Take a hold of the big toes with the peace fingers. Start to rock the weight back in between your tailbone and your sits bones, coming up into Ubaya Padangusthasana. So we're essentially doing a combination of Paschimottanasana and Navasana. Tall through the chest, strong through the fronts of the legs. And then from here, you're going to split the legs, coming into Supta Uttanavishta Konasana. And then from here, you're just going to set the feet down. You can rotate on your mat if you want to. We're coming into Uttanavishta Konasana. Sitting up nice and tall. You can stay here if you feel like you're done and you just want to stretch. Maybe you walk it forward. Otherwise, you're going to plant your left hand in front, the right hand behind, lift the hips, and then maybe you can lift one leg, and maybe you can lift the other leg, and maybe you can lift both legs, and set it down. And then take the right hand in front, left hand behind, press the floor away, lift the hips, and then maybe you can lift one leg, maybe you can lift the other, maybe you can lift both. And then set it down. If you're not already, inhale, sit up nice and tall. And then as you exhale, crawl forward, Uttanavishta Konasana. Both knees and toes point up towards the sky. And from here, you're going to swing that left leg to meet the right, back at the top of the mat. And then you're going to interlace the fingers but underneath the left foot, coming into Crunchasana. Maybe you can release the foot, keep the height of the leg, engaging the lower belly, the quads and the hip flexors. And then taking the left hand to the outside of the left foot, Arkarna Dhanurasana, archer's pose. So think of pulling back a bow as you draw that left knee back behind you. Maybe you can take the peace fingers around the big toe and come a little bit deeper. Really depends on the flexibility of your hips. Some people might be able to reach their right big toe and pull the left leg back at the same time and make it look a lot prettier than whatever it was that I just did. Then you're going to take the right hand to the outside of the left foot. One more time, you're going to snake that left shoulder underneath the left arm. Plant the left hand down. And then you're going to straighten out through the left elbow. Start to extend the left leg as you start to look out underneath the right arm for compass pose or sundial pose. You can come in and out of it if that feels better in your body, or if you have the flexibility, you might be able to work your ear all the way to the other side of your armpit. So we've already established this is definitely not my strong point, is hamstring flexibility. And then slowly release, unwind yourself. Plant the left foot by the right. Plant the hands somewhere in between the hips and the knees. You'll find your place. And then just like we did in Uttanavishta Konasana, you're going to press down through the hands, start to lift the hips, and then maybe you can lift one foot off. Maybe you can lift the other foot off. And maybe you can lift both feet off, catching your balance. And then slowly Setting it down, interlace the fingers, wrap them around the right foot, and then start to extend that right leg up. Tall through the chest, heron pose. And then with control, maybe you can release the foot, keep the height of the leg. Lengthen through the spine. And then take a hold of the outside of the right foot with the right hand. Start to draw that right knee back behind you. Maybe you take the peace fingers, hook them around that left big toe if that's something that works in your body. And then take the left hand around the outside of the right foot. Take the right arm underneath the right leg. Extend the right arm off to the side. And then start to straighten out through that right leg as maybe you look out underneath the left armpit. Engage strongly through the left leg. And then slowly release. Extend that right leg back out into Dandasana. And then this time, inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Sit nice and tall in your Dandasana. And as you exhale, you're going to float the right leg. Inhale, set it down. Exhale, float the left. Inhale, set it down. 2 more on each side. And then you're going to tent the fingertips just beyond the knees or around the knees. And this time as you exhale, you're going to lift both feet. Inhale, set them down. Exhale, both. Inhale, set them down. 3 more. Inhale, sweep it all the way up. Exhale, fold forward, Paschimottanasana. And then from here, you're just going to roll it all the way down onto your back. And just take a bridge as a gentle counter pose. So knees are working directly over the line of the second and third toe. And you can stay in your bridge, or maybe you roll through the spine with your breath coming up and down. Do what feels the best for your body. You can always take a block underneath the sacrum and come into a restorative bridge. And then slowly lowering the hips down. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. Draw the hips slightly to the right and then draw the knees in towards the chest. Take the arms to a capital T and let the legs fall over towards the left, using that left ankle as a gentle anchor on the right knee. Draw the right shoulder down towards the floor. If there's another spinal twist that you would prefer to take, feel free. And then come back through center. Take the feet down, cross the right ankle over the left, shift the hips slightly to the left, draw the knees into the chest, And then let the legs fall over to the right, gently drawing that left shoulder down to the floor. And then coming back onto the back, reaching up through the outside edges of the feet, the big toes or the calves, coming into a happy baby pose. Letting the lower back be wide on the mat, maybe rocking side to side. And then drawing the knees in towards the chest, roll the nose up towards the knees, give everything one final squeeze. And then as you exhale, release to your final resting position, whatever that looks like for you. And take one nice deep breath in through the nose. And let it go through the mouth. And give yourself as long as you have time for here in Shavasana today. Today, as you go forward, may you be clear in your thoughts, clear in your words, and clear in your heart. Namaste.